Yeah, so recording is a blessing, turns out. It's some Richard will not be here today, so someone will be someone is always missing for some reason. Okay, so I will share the screen. Um, and by the way, call Blessed Holy Week. And, to you and your parishioners, I think they are very lucky to have such a pastor who is interested in
Thankfully,
well
not a
the
pastor, so
oh,
just an assistant. Just an
oh,
assistant.
okay. So, well, I see. How it that's how it gets to the when we see pastors, they're probably already they're past. Maybe that's why they call pastors because they're past that stage. They're interested in anything. All right.
They told
Uh,
me one time when a deacon loses his voice, he becomes a priest, and then when a priest loses his mind, he becomes a bishop.
Right, right. That's excellent, excellent. Well, also, I'm glad there's a good sense of humor in the Roman Catholic Church still remains. That makes the church alive. All right. So would you start since you missed
Sure.
this Peritaptis? Do you see this?
Yes. Um, so, regarding it, as we have said before, um, namely the super substantial and hidden divinity, we must not.
May I jump in?
Yes.
I think you took it as a, as I heard, you took taftis as just a relative pronoun, but I think since this it is usually in construction going before the article, so I think it's better to take it attributively. Peritaftis tis hyperusiu ke kryphies theotetus. So uh, in other words, tis hyperusiu ke kryphies theotetus. I don't think it stands in opposition to taftis, but it is qualified or characterized by taftis. So you see what I mean?
Uh, Sorry, my grammar is not very sharp, so perhaps you could explain what the difference would be.
Oh, the difference as uh, peritaftis, uh, as I heard you saying, you took it as a pronoun, and then you said about that one,
Right.
namely Tisupirusiu, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Right. But instead, actually, it means about this Iperusiu
Okay.
Kakrifiets, you see, and what is in between, well, just use your good English to accommodate, but un and as I said, of course, in English, it would probably go somewhere kind of maybe in a little different position, but yeah.
Okay. So regarding um, this super substantial and hidden divinity, as was said, we must not dare to speak nor even to think anything beyond what is divinely revealed to us, what has been divinely, beyond the things divinely revealed to us in the holy oracles. And
Okay, okay. First, here's a period. Of course, you can read more because it's a
sure, sure,
short
sure.
sentence, but I have one remark here. You took ek as an, which is not
Um,
quite the same.
okay.
Uh, can you try to honor this ek?
Yeah, revealed to us out of or from the divine oracles.
Yes, yes, and I'm well. Usually, I'm just being pedantic, but in this case, I have a justification because your friend, I assume, Thomas Aquinas made a lot out of this, noting that uh, it's not just what is said in the Holy Scriptures, as one easily translate your own Logion, oracles or scriptures, but from which is revealed from them. He took it to mean on the basis of them. In other words, he doesn't want to read Dionysius as if Dionysius were a fundamentalist, like, just
Right.
sola scriptura, although Aquinas didn't know sola scriptura yet, but he was, perhaps he had a foresight. So he told Mr. Martin Luther, so don't make anything of this text in your favor, which of course he didn't. On the contrary, he reviled this text. Anyway. All right. Yes. And this mean, you translated even, it can be take ute problem, but mean is, of course, it doesn't mean quite even, but it's hard to render it more adequately. It's indeed or something, but it's a minor thing. All right. So here he just takes up what it's almost verbatim what he said before. He just so he takes up what he said before. Okay. Any questions about that yet? So, Cole, if you want to read a little more, then you can take more because you missed a lot, right?
Yeah, perhaps I'll do the next sentence then.
Uh-huh.
Kegarchos auti periheoptis entis logis agatho prepos para dedoken hymen autis hotipote estin epistemi, que theoria passin avatos estitis usin, hos panton hyperusios exerimeni. For okay, so for just as it, namely the divinity, has given regarding itself by means of most fitting words. So,
Mm, may I
yes, yeah.
antis logis, so where it looks like you found somewhere attributively, I mean, a qualification most fitting words.
Agathoprekos.
Right, but what part of speech is agathos?
Right, that you're right. Yeah, that qualifies the verb. So has most fittingly given.
No, not paradoken. Paradosis is tradition, so it's transmitted. It's
Okay.
close, but
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So for just as it has regarding itself most fittingly handed down or communicated in words, it's or in the writings. He it itself, whatever it may be, or the knowledge of it, whatever that may be, and the vision to and the vision of it, or the contemplation of it, um, which is inaccessible to all.
To all usin.
To all, Right, to all being,
passing, oh, to all, yes, to all existence, right?
to all, okay, to all existence. Um, um, so exirimini is I'm not exactly sure how or what that word means here. It means like placed above or raised.
Well, right. It's not easily translated into English. It's well, roughly speaking. So maybe Adam, do you have any thoughts about uh, what? First of all, what form is it? So it's kind of uh, we need to start with the form, right? So to any clues about the form of this? Uh, uh,
You're talking about ex aramina?
yes, exerimenis, right? It's
Is it a perfect middle participle from exireo?
right, right. It's yes, exactly. It's uh, middle passive perfect participle exereo. So we need to figure out what exereo means, right? So and it means many things, of course. Uh, and interestingly, so uh, well, lampe, probably if you don't have it handy, I can tell you. It's LSJ give to remove, take out for oneself in the medial form. And so, but already LSJ give exerimenus transcendently. So there is active meaning which Lampe gives to transcend. So one can roughly translate it as transcendent, right? So it's of course a little bit different in form because there's no meaning of trespassing, which uh, uh, Latin roots suggest in to transcend. But it's also it means taken out. It means it has a connotation of holiness here, which transcend doesn't have. So, like in the word anathema, which anathema, of course, means you remove the heretics or someone from the church, but also it had a meaning of putting aside something for actually for God, like a sacred as opposed to profane, which is thus transcend the domain of the profane. So, as you see, it's not easy to give one adequate English word for this. Also, there's set free, deliver. Uh, yeah, so I think all this meaning, many of at least more than one meaning play here in this signification, but roughly speaking, as you can translate it as transcendent, although that thus will be lost it's the force of the participle, the passive aspect in transcendent is just an adjective, of course, right? So um, now, how exactly did you take this hotipote estin Do you take again, that is the same question we had regarding one scholium, right? Remember, so Cole, can you say again, maybe clarify? So hotipote estin means what in the world it is, right? But to what does it refer in your mind?
I thought it referred to he episteme, the knowledge,
The
whatever that
knowledge.
knowledge might be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way to take it. Adam, do you have the same view?
Yeah, I think so. Whatever it is. I guess qualifying episteme is how I understood it also.
Well, I don't disagree with any certainty, but still I would prefer to take it as referring to the object of knowledge. I mean, aftis episteme, the knowledge of it, namely of divinity.
Oh, you would need
Uh,
a hatus, right, if it were to be with episteme.
right. So what tip, in other words, what in the world it is. So the knowledge, if we had it, would tell us what it is, because the knowledge in this Greek, broadly speaking, well, main Aristotelian and later sense, is expressed in a definition of what a thing is. Hot, deep. So what it, namely the divinity, is. So this knowledge and contemplation of it, I'm not sure how to take care, is a exegetical, namely mental vision, or and it as something maybe superior, which is direct intellectual intuition. So maybe the second is better. So there's a knowledge of what it is, and contemplation, which would be just intellectual intuition, is inaccessible to all things that are, which of course it's also interesting way to put it, because like even to stones, to plants, that's a surprise, right? Is knowledge of anything accessible to them? I think he means humans and angels, maybe, but that's way of speaking, probably just to stress that all agents of knowledge are existence, and that thing, or even if we can call it a thing, is above, beyond existence. Uh, so right. So but still, that the last clause, of course, refers grammatically. The only way to take it is to refer it uh, to knowledge. So and that's interesting thought, right? That knowledge of it is transcendent, uh, or somehow it doesn't say, in other words, that there is no knowledge of it. It looks like, I mean, it reads like that there is knowledge, but it is somehow transcendent. So that somehow squares with what was said about that unknowing, that right? That there is some unknowing, which actually, so in this case, knowledge is unknowing. In this sense, it is probably transcendent. At least that's how I take it. Now, this agathoprypos, again, what did you make of,
oh, sorry, am I muted? No, I'm here. Okay.
no,
Of agathoprypos.
yes, this adverb.
Yeah, I just took it to mean most fittingly or very fittingly, referring to the manner in which it is given itself
Right. I
or
want to,
communicated itself.
yeah, I want to double check uh, what maybe there is some, because uh, mm, just a second, I'm trying to pull out. Well, Lampe gives as becomes the good benignly. I don't see it in, well, in LSJ, there is agathoprypis, just the adjective, but of course, that's good enough. Let's see, because in that translation, it kind of misses the uh, reference to, well, for some reason I don't find it. Agathoprypis. Anyway, so benignly probably would be more faithful translation here, because it's prepose of itself means properly, like in a proper way. But here, this agathoprypos, uh, so it's something more than just prepose. Yeah, so I mean, of course, it's just one more kind of twist of meaning, like this kind of Baroque uh, construction. But I think we need to be give it its due. Okay, any questions about this? Well, if not, then Adam, please.
Kai palus ton theologon heresis, humanon hos araton autein kai aperlepton humnepathos, alakai hos annexereuniton hama kai annexigniaston, hos ucontos ignus udenos ton epitain crypion aute saperion dialele dutaton. And you will find many of the theologians not only having sung hymns, assuming about it, I guess, as if it's indefinable and ungraspable.
Well, maybe better praised. Well, because in English, to him, is there such a verb? Right, but it doesn't take direct object. But so maybe to praised her or it as invisible. Okay.
And the outtane would still refer to the theotes, right? The
Right. Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But also at the same time, it's unfindable and untraceable. Does Lilo wants to delete that host, or is he adding the host?
He's adding. He's
Okay.
adding.
So as if it's untraceable and unfindable, undiscoverable.
Right.
And well, but wait, sorry. Oh, since there is no trace of those having approached to the hidden infinity of it.
Right. So uk ontos ichnus, there is no trace of anyone.
Mhm.
Again, interesting construction. So it doesn't say that no one has reached dear Lilith Thornton, so has reached as far as its hidden infinity. He doesn't deny, he doesn't claim that there are none. He just says that there is no trace of any of them. So, see, that's, I don't know, I find it kind of exciting, I would say.
Is
Well,
there,
like
can I ask a question? Does Dionysius ever make any kind of first person statement about himself having achieved mystical union with
oh, no. And it was not comme il faut, so to speak. Among that, I don't know, except this in patristic, at least in Greek patristics, this guy, Simeon, the new theologian. That's why he was called a new theologian. It was a pejorative term at first, but then when he was canonized, he is the only one of the canonized people who claimed a lot about his experience. But that's really an exception. Others claimed absolutely nothing, and it was, well, kind of norm. Uh, yeah. So, yeah, but about some we can guess this, but in the way they speak. About Dionysius, I'm not sure. He seems to me more of a poet, and as usual with poetry, it's hard to tell where experience, kind of bare experience ends, and creative construction begins. So certainly I feel there's inspiration behind this text, but more akin to poetic inspiration, I would say. That's my perception of it. I'm just I'm a little bit troubled by returning to this exerimene, that of course, it would be, I would like more if it would be in genitive case and really refer to divinity. But I see in the apparatus no no trace of again. Yeah, well, anyway, okay. Then a call, please.
So, umin akinoniton esti katolu tagathon udeni tononton. Al effeaftu monimos din hyperusion idrisan actina tes ekasto tononton analogis elamsesin agathoprepos epiphenite ke prostin effictin of tu theorian ke kinonian ke osin. Oh, the text has disappeared here.
Disappeared? Okay. Let me pull it again out. It's okay.
Anatini tus hierus is the next word, I think.
Yes. Just
tus irus noas, tus hos demiton auto ke Iroprepos epivalontas chemite prosto hyperterontis enarmonios enthithomenis theophenies athinatos apauthathiazomenus mite prosto catantes ectis epitochiron Ipheseos apolistheontas al efstathos teke aklinos epitin actina tinaftis epilampusan anatinomenus ketosimetro ton demiton elamseon eroti met evlavias hiras sophronos tecaeosios anapterumenos.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be translating all of that. I hope Adam will come with the assist.
Well, it may be teamwork, right? Maybe we'll
Okay.
need even Scolia to help us. I'll pull them out just in case. But you may start. Yeah.
Sure. For indeed, the good is not entirely unshared by any of the things that exist.
Okay. Just this is should be a little bit adversative because it not so much explains or confirms what was said before, but in a way a little bit corrects it. So mean better be to taken, I think, as in truth.
I see.
In truth, so it has this this particle, indeed, in truth, but in here, because you see, previously he just said that it's beyond everything and its knowledge is beyond everything. But so one might think, so the question, implicit question, or implicit worry is, how can one even talk about it, or so I
Right.
think he responds to this.
So in fact, the good, or in truth, the good is not entirely unshared um, to any of those things that exist, but by itself, standing alone. So this word idrisan there, I wasn't quite sure how to translate that. I understand it's a participle of idrio, which
Right,
means to cause to sit down.
right, to settle, to cause to sit down. I may look what Lampe gives, if you because Lampe often gives more fitting versions, fitting for establish, set firmly, place, situate, pose it. So I think establish or set firmly would be the best here.
Okay, so for of itself, and then monimos, staying in one's place, stable, is what LSJ gives.
Let me look for yes, it seems it's not quite the okay, now in this case Lampe doesn't give anything additional, so probably stable in okay, let's see. Also means steady, steadfast, which is a bit surprising to me, but yeah, I think actually it's the best, steadily, steadfast. So because moni is an abode, so it's probably not so much from the word monos as from the word moni, which is permanence, stopping place. Actually, monastery, there's even such meaning. So it's from the, not, in other words, it's not from the word monos. Maybe it's a guess. Of course, there is an etymological dictionary, but also doesn't mean much because there is a kind of folk etymology, but also, but it's, so there's a verb meno, to stay, to remain. And moni, the noun, is formed from this verb. And mm, uh, looking at these meanings, which are given, well, maybe, so there's a word moni, there's monimos and monimos. That's now an interesting question. Monimo, but that doesn't mean much anyway. So if this adverb is formed from moni, then that would explain. In other words, this, if I don't see any adverb which would be accented. Yeah, it cannot be accented otherwise because of the last vowel is a long vowel. Anyway, so we have to assume that it's from the adjective monimos, and this adjective is related to the verb meno and to the noun moni, not to the adjective monos, which is alone.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then given that, it's stably would be, steadfastly would be the best. Yeah.
Okay. So, but steadfastly and fitting, and agathoprekos, fittingly, the supersubstantial idrusan, so seated or remaining ray, reveals.
No. Idrusan is since it's it doesn't qualify ray. Ray is an object of hydrison, so it's so hydrison, it's an aorist, right? It's aorist participle, so the action should precede the action of the main verb. And the object of the, so actina is the object of hydrison.
Okay. So having established the ray.
Right.
Okay. So
having established the superessential ray. So
having established the super essential ray, reveals by flashes, analogically, of each being.
To each being. Analogically here means proportionally. It doesn't mean it
Right.
doesn't mean this analogia antis, which
Sure,
is
sure.
yeah, it's proportionally to each of the beings. I think assume that the beings who somehow come to know it.
Well, is it to the beings? Because it's in genitive, right? So it revealed to the proportionate illumination of the beings,
No, it's
each of the beings.
to each. Ekasto is dative.
Oh,
Ekasto ton ondon. So to each of the beings.
oh, okay, I see.
Mhm.
Sorry, I was looking at a version online that had hekastu. So that's the mistake there. I wasn't looking at the one on
I
your
see.
screen.
That's why we right. And let's see. Since you yes, what is online? If you have TLG probably, yes.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And TLG has Zuchla's edition. But let's look since it's a good one occasion to compare. What does Mr. Lila say? What did he say? He passed away. So so let's look. Where is this? Oh, it says, do you see? 10, number 10. Hecasto, ego. Of course, as a Catholic priest, you know Latin, right? You should, or they canceled it already. Second Vatican. Anyway, it means I. So he did it. He didn't
Yeah,
find it in any manuscript. But he's right, you see, because it does make sense. I
yeah.
now recall when I was reading before it was published, I was reading. Of course, Zuchla's edition, and it was a stumbling block to me every time I was coming across it. So I said, what the heck? Why is genitive here? So I like that's what I like about him. He's not shy, you know.
Not at all.
Yeah, well, if anything doesn't make sense, which it doesn't, you know.
Hmm.
Because well, I don't know how would you take castuton onton because analogies doesn't take genitive. It needs dative and analogously to what you know that's
Hmm.
proportional to what uh, okay so Elampsicin okay so did you do this Elampsicin Agathoprypos our friend here uh,
Yeah, I think. Well, that's just the adverb describing epiphanetai.
yes and now how would you
Well, yeah, fittingly reveals, or is fittingly revealed.
I think benignly
Oh, benignly is what we
is
decided.
the best
Yeah,
because you know agatho. Well, my
yeah.
Latin is rusty, but as far as I remember, it's like well. And what do you make of elampsicin?
That's very difficult. Just because dative plural, so it's like the radiations or the flashes.
Yeah, but what you mainly we start with structure. What do you make of the dative?
So it must go with analogis,
Uh,
I suppose.
uh,
Or
well,
no, sorry. So
it's since it's a noun, it doesn't need to go with well, it's but it's a noun in the dative case.
so by means of flashes, or yeah.
Right, and the lampe gives illumination. So by means of illuminations. and why is it benign? So how does so let's think, Adam, also you may, of course, well, I think it should go without saying that participation is welcome in a discussion. Well, since already we kind of combine modes of translation and discussion because it's a very long sentence. So it's dative of means, right? It appears by means of illuminations benignly. And why is it benign?
Well, if it were not benign, the illumination would destroy the person who perceived it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's exactly because it's proportionate.
Yeah.
That's what it makes it benign. That's the constant thread here. That's it's not because divinity hides something. I mean, grudges something. It's sostiki dikeasunis, saving justice, right?
Mm.
Okay, so let's proceed.
Well, perhaps I'll hand the baton off to Adam for the
Okay,
next
okay,
segment
okay.
here.
Well, that's fair because, right, we need to. Uh, yes, Adam, so would you care prostin 15?
And it lifts up, I guess we have to take the tous hierus nous as the object, the holy minds towards the attainable contemplation of it and association and assimilation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, those minds casting, I guess, casting on it auto, or throwing them on it, maybe.
Epivalo, I think to apply oneself uh, to it.
Mhm.
Uh,
As is lawful and in the way befitting, or in a holy way or something here, or prepos.
yes, as befits sacred things. Yeah, as well, things is not good, but as befits sacredness. Something clumsy, I know, but yeah, yeah.
And not pros to Hupertron is like a place beyond.
It's not necessarily a place. Actually, this to with a neuter adjective, to hyperteron, it's can be taken as an abstract noun, beyondness. Well, excuse my English. That sounds.
Oh, I
Uh,
see. And not,
uh,
it's not like an apathal dias dominus is like boasting or something boldly,
boldly. Oh yes, boldly. Mm-hmm.
not boldly boasting a beyondness, something beyond, like or impossibly boasting a beyondness which is beyond the granted revelation harmoniously.
Well, boasting. Let's see, what does it mean? I was taking it slightly differently but
Well,
of
this was
course,
a tough word to find. I think it was
uh, um, uh,
speaking boldly is what I found, I guess.
right, but speaking doesn't seem to me.
Or acting boldly.
Yes, I think that's not. Well, it's not a matter of them speaking of the acting, not acting over boldly. Uh, yes, so yes, that's And how do you take adinatos here?
Impossibly, like impossibly acting boldly.
Right. Yes, impossibly. So, but what is the meaning? Because it can be taken in
Maybe impotently.
right. Exactly. That's excellent. That's impotently. Impotent. That's the gist. The gist. I'm confusing the English pronunciation, but you know that's you got the point. So that's the salt of it. So with it, not acting with impotent boldness. That's uh, uh, in regard the beyondness of tis enarmonios and the domenis theophanias. How did you translate it? Oh, you didn't yet translate it?
Oh, beyond the given revelation, the harmoniously given revelation.
Right, theophany. Well, theophany is a word in English, so you can use it safely here. Theophania, uh, harmoniously, fittingly, right? So yes, here you see, benignly and harmonious. That's would be the best translated as fittingly, and so we reserve benignly for agathoprypos.
I went in late because I had cleaned it out.
Oh, who's speaking anyway? Interesting. We're hearing voices already. Theophania. Okay. So, well, maybe would Cole want to jump in back, or would you still want to Adam to continue?
I can make an effort here at mite.
Mm-hmm.
So mite prosto catantes. So neither. So catantes would be things below, right? As opposed
Right.
to anantes.
Right. Anantes. Already, you see, to hyperteron, and then here to catandes. So there, if we translate that to beyondness, here would be belowness, but again, excuse my English, but something like that. There is no word place here. Place would be too kind of concrete, I would say.
Okay, so neither do they neither are they slipping away or sliding down towards the lower. Ectis, slackening. So out of out of slackening towards what is worse.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. But rather steadfastly and unswervingly towards that ray that shines upon them. Do they lift themselves up and tosimetron? And
I'd rather
yes.
lift oneself up. It would be almost like, you know, this guy Münchhausen.
No, they are lifted up. It should be
Either lifted or stretching.
okay.
Stretching themselves, something like that, you know.
Right. Okay. They are stretched. They are stretched out towards towards that ray that shines on them, and themiton, and according to the measure of what is themiton is like lawful According to
don't don't ascribe it too hastily. Don't make of it. In other words, symmetro. Of course, it's an adjective, and of course, it can be substantivized as above. To hyperteron, it can be substantivized adjective, but you see further down, you
right,
see,
eroti.
yeah.
Okay, so by a measured love of the for the illuminations that are permitted to them, or that are
But the love of permitted illuminations, because in English we can easily because in English one can say love of something, right?
Yes.
With so, and that exactly corresponds to the genitive case in Greek. So love of permitted. Um, it's difficult to translate themiton, lawful, permitted. Well, permitted by whom? It's a question,
Right.
right? Themiton, like set. It's from thesis, from something which is. Well, I wouldn't struggle, but be mentally try to think away this, permitted by whom, or some law which is kind of legalistic. It's a subtle meaning, but we understand, right? So it's an right. Let's proceed. Mhm.
So I'm not sure what meta here is doing. Metevlavias. So is it after, or
Well, meta with genitive. Adam, do you have any idea?
with?
I would say with
Yeah, with the help of conjointly. So I think it adds. So eroti is the main thing is to establish why is eroti is dative. Why it's dative of what is the force of dative here?
Instrumental.
Right, and what is the action of which it is in?
Being stretched.
Oh well, of course one can think if it's possible, but at least the editor didn't think so, because he put a comma here. Other options. Well, is there expression in English winged by love? Well, maybe it's easier for me because in Russian there is. Right, and winged anapteromenus. They are winged. It has this verb of which it is a participle, has a meaning. First of all, that one obtains wings, which kind of grow from one's back, but not just an accessory bodily, but one already flies. One already. So there's two. Not just a physical feature, but it's actually in action. So that's the meaning of the verb. Let's see what LSJ says. Anapteromenus. We started a bit later, so I'll take a couple of minutes if you don't mind. So, well, it doesn't. It's easily find. Yes, anaptero. Oh, let go. Well, Lampik has two. furnish with wings, first meaning, then fly. Well, actually, they're both here. And that, of course, comes from Plato's Phaedrus, which we read together. I'm not sure how many sessions you had, but that's definitely comes from there. So, I think the best way to take eroti as the instrumental with this anapteromenos, right?
So by means of a measured love, they grow wings, they take flight.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And they do that sophronos ke osios.
right. So they do that with the help of sacred discretion for Elivius.
Yes. Or
Okay.
Evlavius piety, I would say,
Okay.
sacred piety.
A sacred piety, temperately and
Holily.
holily, yeah,
Yes, 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 yes.
devoutly,
Great.
maybe.
Yes, devoutly would be great. Yes.
Okay.
Now, the only problem. Let's take one more minute. We translated these two participle anatinomenus e anapterumenus. We translated them as verbs in indicative mood, which is not quite right, right? I think we mentally, at least, need to honor them being participles and being kind of in parallels with epivalondas, and then apophthadiazomenus, apolisthendos. So these are kind of rejected, and then Allah. So there are three ways of actions which are rejected, and then two affirmed. But this being participles, so the main verb remains mm, uh, 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 so all these participles, they
Anatini.
no, they qualify tous tous Jerus Noas. And that's why all these participles are in plural accusative. So these holy minds which are attracted, divinity, this hidden divinity attracts or stretches this or draws these holy minds towards which on their part, they're not being just passively attracted to it, but they apply themselves, but not in this hubristic way, which is first described, but in a way which is described in the end. But all this again, all these descriptions of how they apply themselves and the very action of applying are expressed by participles qualifying or characterizing this noas. And this noas, of course, it's left open. What are these noas? It looks like if you look in the scholia, the scholias translate understands them as angels, but I don't think it's necessary to limit this to angels. It might be human minds as well. Okay, we are out of time. So hope to see you next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Right.
Have a good
Thank
week.
you. You too.
Bye.
Bye bye. It's just.